Playing of Speak, the Universe Listens.
We cherish that. We love that particular piece of it because
teach people like, hey, it's okay, change.
New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you.
Greetings and welcome to Speak the Universe Listens. Today's topic is peace and prosperity begins in the mind. And I have Stephen and Teron joining me. And so with the common thinking surrounding peace, for example, is we always think of peace as being something that is disturbed from the outside of us. So a lot of times we think I can have peace when the people on my job stop acting crazy, or I can have peace if I didn't have so many bills to pay, or I can have peace if, my kids weren't driving me crazy. And then the same with prosperity. Like we think it's something on the outside of us, or we think that once we can be prosperous if we, work hard and struggle and fight and, that type of thing. Or we may even think that prosperity isn't for everyone. It's not for me to be prosperous. I don't even want to be, like I hear that a lot. I really don't even want to, be abundant. I want, I just need enough just to get by, type of thing.
I think, the biggest thing is you have to find the peace within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when we realize that, okay, you come to terms with knowing sometimes in life you may not get that apology that you know that is due to you. And you have to be okay with that. Come to terms and peace with that. Come to terms with knowing that things in life may not always happen the way that you want it. So when you have, I think, even for myself, just knowing this and I was learning this, I was like, okay, I started to come to terms with a lot of things, come to peace with it. Mm-hmm. And when I came to peace with it, knowing that some people I cannot change, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that now. Some relationships weren't meant to be, and I'm okay with that. So when I found that peace within me, that just made me realize, okay, wow, anything that I want now is like, okay, it's awesome. This is just beautiful. Because a lot of the times, a lot of people will sit back and say, well, I'll find peace, when I sit back and hit the lottery. Hit the lottery, and then there's still not peaceful. I'll find peace when I get this house bigger than the one that I have, and get it, and they're still not peaceful. And the only reason why is just because they haven't found peace
with that.
Yeah. That's actually kind of what made me really love this topic, actually, because I think so many people look at success as material things and as this or as that, and then they get that and it's never enough. It's always like, oh, well, I got that, and it's just
I know, man. I know. It's almost like in a sense as to where people sort of can use it as an excuse as to why they feel the way that they feel. And I think just really need to change that narrative of thinking. You can be peaceful. You can you can be very peaceful, but it just you have to actually understand and be aware that, okay, I know I have to do some work within myself. So if I know I have to do some work within myself, let me come to terms with it. Let me just come to terms with it and just go ahead and start working on it. And then even for myself, when I started to come to terms with being peaceful, I noticed that the things that used to irritate me the most within people, I had that quality, or the quality or trait that irritated me about people. I had that same trait within myself. And so I had to sit back and I had to figure out, I said, wow. When I learned that, I was like, okay, so let me sit back and start looking, where I need to be doing some work at. And I seen for myself, I'm like, okay, attitude. I may have to work on my attitude, or I may have to work on this aspect of my life. So being open to knowing that, hey, you have to do some work.
I guess that's a great leads me into, I guess, a question that I had for both of you as I was sitting here thinking. So when do you guys feel like you felt peace? Because I felt like I found inner peace when I started realizing I had everything I needed in me. I found peace when I realized that I didn't need a certain title or a certain job to feel like, all right, I'm happy. And I felt the switch happen where I stopped looking for success in a day, and like, as long as I was satisfied, I knew that everything else was gonna be, I guess, successful to whoever who might see it.
Right.
Like, so I guess what I'm saying is, when I started feeling like I was more satisfied with everything I had within, is when the random success happens. It's like when the random spurts of money come in, or this went right, or that went right, and everything's just clicking. And I don't know why it's clicking, but I know that I feel better right now. So I'm just going to keep doing this because I ain't doing nothing different, but I'm feeling different. So I guess, when did you guys reach peace?
Well, I just wanted to comment on what you just said about you're not doing anything different, you're feeling different. And that's just such a key component of what the shift is not, you shift from doing to being. And so that's what you did. You weren't doing anything different, you just started feeling different. And we think that something on the outside of us is going to make us feel different. If something on the outside of us is making us feel differently, then that's a temporary fix. But if we want a permanent fix, then we have to feel different. And that may be that you have to make that same decision to feel different every day until it becomes a habit for you. So you can feel like you're at peace today, but then later on something could come and kind of sweep you off your feet. And so you just have to bring yourself back. And every time something sweeps you off your feet, you just bring yourself back. And you eventually, the amount of time you're being swept off your feet, it'll start getting less and less and less. And like Stephen said, things that used to irritate him no longer does. People that used to irritate him no longer do. And so it is a choice, like happiness, peace, how you feel on the inside is a choice. And it's not contingent on whatever's going on the outside of us.
Right.
I agree there.
For me, you said, when did I find peace? I found peace when I stopped waiting for validation from others. When I realized that it's nothing outside of me that can make me happy for myself. And when I came to that realization, I was like, so you mean to tell me all this time that's all that I needed, So it was like it was life changing, and it made me more aware of my everyday life. My journey, just becoming a better me, a better version of me, reaching a higher level of myself. So when I got aware, I was like, okay, I know that I need to work on X, Y, Z. And I think some people just don't have the awareness yet. And so without the awareness, you may sit back and still be at point A. But if you're trying to get to point B, then you really have to be open to knowing, hey, all right, I have to do the work for myself, and knowing that it's in me already. Boom, start taking the steps. So for me, that's the biggest thing. I love it. You know, there's nothing that can really take me out of my character. And don't get me wrong, I'm human. I get mad sometimes. I get frustrated sometimes. But like Arbet was saying, sometimes I had to wheel it right back in. So for me, that's what I would say. Make me find peace.
Yeah. I guess what I would say to maybe somebody who might be thinking, well, how can I find peace when I got all these bills stressing me? How can I find peace when all this is happening in the world and all that's happening in the world? One thing that helped me was I actually took a practice from you guys. I wrote the gratitude letter. And once I started realizing the more things I was grateful for, it made it a lot easier to be at peace with what I had. Because I was like, all right, now I got this going and I got that going and I'm loving this and I'm loving that and I'm speaking things into existence. But as I'm sitting here writing it and writing down also what I like, it's like, I don't know. I just started feeling more relaxed, I guess. It was like, all right, you know, I was worried about not paying this bill or not paying that bill. And then as I started writing, I was like, well, this ain't never happened before. So why do I think it's going to happen this time?
Yeah. So I think you made a couple of key points just now about the gratitude. And you started off with saying sometimes we aren't satisfied with what we have and we want more. And I think it's human nature to want more. Like, no matter in what area, no matter what you do, you always want more. That's how the universe expands. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to want more. We're supposed to want to expand. And that's the whole nature of why we're even here, is to expand the universe. And so I think that's human nature. But the part that we kind of skip is being happy with what we have. So it's like appreciating where you are, paying attention to where you are, offering gratitude to where you are, what things you have, what things are showing up in your life, while expanding as well. And so I think that's a key point that you made, like really spending time in gratitude, loving where you are right now. And interesting too that it kind of, just the process of writing it down puts you into that space.
Yes.
I would say gratitude is my biggest thing. It is, because it just reminds me, it takes away the negative feelings that I have. So pretty much every day just having gratitude of what made my day awesome. Even if my day was hectic, right? I had to think about like what made my day really awesome. And I can just figure out maybe 10 things, you know. And if I can figure out 10 things, then the little 2 things that wasn't so pretty in that day, it's like, you know, I'm not even thinking about it, but I'm so grateful. And I had this gratitude of like, okay, I'm in this feeling of just feeling good, you know. And even though the day may not have been bad, I thought it was bad. But then after I did my gratitude and I wrote things down, like, okay, my day was actually, it wasn't bad. It was good. You know, it was good. And just having that reminder for myself, just to be in a space of always being grateful. You know, even when you think things are bad, things are not really bad. It's just how you think about it. So I had to rewrite, you know, my thinking process. I had to turn it around and correct it and say, you know what, today was actually, it was a good day. I took something out of that day that was awesome, and boom, man, just so grateful. That's all I can say. Just very, very grateful, very grateful. Gets the negativity out your mind.
All right. So being in a state of peace, but what about being in a state of prosperity and abundance? How is that in your mind?
I have to really, every day it's a work in progress. You know, just knowing that I'm already abundant. You know, it doesn't. I think a lot of us look at abundance as the way it's materialistic. You know, it has to be seen that you are abundant, but really behind closed doors, you know, how do you feel on the inside? Do you feel abundant? You know, do you have a feeling of that you have everything already? again, being grateful. So for me, I would say when I wake up every day, I just think about what is it that I have in the inside, my mental state. How do I feel about myself and where I am in my current moment?
Right.
And that really makes me be like, okay, wow.
Yeah.
So I guess I had one quick story. So I'll never forget. One time I was reading, it was like the random questions that you get. It's like 50 questions to get to know somebody better. And one of the questions was, would you rather be rich and miserable or poor and happy? And I felt like everybody's response would always usually be like rich and miserable. And then I started thinking about it a little more, and I realized that the poor and happy almost is the only correct answer, because when you're happy, it's almost impossible to be poor because you are abundant.
Exactly.
There you go.
And so
There you go.
I guess that's just my way of feeling abundant, is knowing that no matter what I might feel materialistic wise or what I might feel I might need at that moment, I have everything that I need in that moment. Because even if I feel like I'm about to shortcome, I know the universe will always find a way to make sure that I reach everything I need to reach. As long as I keep my focus there, I will also have the universe helping me. And so I guess in a long roundabout way, abundance is us. So it's, I don't know. I guess I don't know how to explain what abundance is, because to me, abundance is all of us. I see all of us having everything that we need already, and so nobody's ever in need of anything. Maybe just a little untapping of it, but it's already there. You just have to ask for it.
So how do you think someone who is not feeling abundant, someone who's like, I can't make the ends meet, like I'm going through this situation right now with COVID, don't have a job, can't pay my rent, whatever. So how can someone who's feeling those things start to feel abundant right now?
Do something for others. Is the it's like a cheat code to feeling abundant, honestly. The minute you do something for others, you instantly feel better.
Exactly.
Like, I'll never forget, I was actually just talking to a friend the other day, and he was like, yeah, man, like, what makes you send out those texts? And I was like, I'll be honest, usually whenever I send out like a bunch of like nice texts, it's usually like a day I'm having like a rough day, because I know that the payoff of sending off that text is going to make me feel better instantly. Just knowing that, just knowing I even had the possibility to make somebody's day better makes me feel better. And then I think what you give is what you get. So once you start trying to put energy and effort into other people, doing right by others, then things start to flow better for you. So I think what I would say to the person who might be struggling with bills or COVID and everything's just tough, find something small to just do something for somebody else that day. I think would be the best answer.
Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. You're a wise one, Mr. Teron.
I like that. I totally agree with that. With that being said, man, I have to agree, because I think I will put myself in that person's shoes, and doing something for somebody would be something to shift them away from that mindset of just getting out of the lack, the poverty, your situation, what's making things so bad for you. But also trying to find something that will make you shift that feeling to being in a feeling of feeling good. What makes you feel good, even if the situation is not as where you want it to be. Okay, the main thing is finding something that will make you feel good, I would say. And when you find something that makes you feel good for the moment, for that little piece of 5 minutes, when you do, your mind will shift away from what you have going on in your life at that moment. And then when it does pop back up, then it's like you start thinking about it differently than what you were looking at it, because you were looking at it at the worst, like you got it so bad. But then you took a little second to yourself, some time to yourself, and when you took that time to yourself, you did something that made you feel good. And when you went back, you're like, okay, all right. Now it's like your view on it is totally different. You know, so I'm telling you, like, find something that will shift your mind away from that feeling of lack and, you know, poverty and what's not going right for you at that moment, and find something that makes you feel good. And when you find something that makes you feel good, that could be from reading, you know, your favorite song that just get you in an upbeat mood. But yeah, if anything, find that feeling, and when you do, your whole thought process of what you got going on, I think it will change.
Yeah, and that's so true, because that shift that you're talking about, it is a mental shift. And so, for example, you can't just go out and, if you don't have anything, and then, you know, like Teron is saying, give to someone else. And if you go out and give to someone else and you're like, dang, man, I ain't gonna have nothing, then you've just defeated the whole purpose. So when you know, you can't give from a place of lack. You have to give from a place of abundance. And so when you're giving, it's not, you don't want to feel like, okay, now I'm giving away what I have, but you're doing it from a place of love, abundance. When you reach out to your friends for those texts or whatever, what's the thinking? How, not the thinking so much, but how are you feeling when you are actually sending those texts?
So I actually usually try and personalize it, because I think you should personalize everything. So like I'll look at like one person, like say I'm texting Steven, for instance. I'll look at it, I'm like, all right, well, what does Steven like? I know Steven's an Atlanta Falcons fan. So I might send him like a little Atlanta Falcon meme and just say, hey, have a great day. Let's be successful today.
Right.
Because in that, one, I'm personalizing, so I'm making sure it's something that he's enjoying. And then the second part is, let's be successful today. I'm also putting an affirmation in it. I just realized that. I'm putting an affirmation in the message as well. So I'm now speaking power onto me and you in that one moment.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm proud to say that's my nephew.
Stephen, you actually were making a point that I just said, was thinking about when you said find something that you enjoy. I'll never forget, one day I read an article, and it was like things that all successful people do, and a bunch of stuff on the list was stuff. I was like, I don't know if I really want to do that. But one of the things was like, they all carve out time in the day to do something that they enjoy. And I was like, I get that. You know, the other one was like sleep a whole 10 hours. Probably not going to get that. Reading more. I plan on doing that. And then like, you know, do something you enjoy every day.
Yes.
And I think that's so important, to not do something you enjoy every once in a while, but every day. Like even the smallest things. Just on a ramble here. Sometimes, you know, I find myself going to like the randomest restaurants that like nobody else would ever even think to go to, but I'm going there because I enjoy one meal from there. I'm gonna sit there and eat that one meal because that's what I want to do for myself today. So you should definitely find something you enjoy.
Yeah, so I love that. So a part of having an abundant mindset is treating yourself well, going from a place of abundance, not a place of lack, making sure it's just really a mental shift. It's all in your mind, as far as when we talked about having a peace mindset and an abundant mindset. It really all begins in your mind. It really has nothing to do with outside. And so I know a lot of times when people hear about abundance is in your mind, they're like, I'm not trying to hear that. I need abundance to be in my pocket.
Right.
But everything does, it starts with a thought. It projects into the energy field. It is created out there first and before it becomes material. And so you have to start feeling whatever the thing is. So if you want to have peace in your life, you have to feel peace right now in your life. If you want abundance in your life, you have to be abundant right now. And so just start practicing feeling abundant. And Teron and Stephen both share great ways where you can start practicing feeling that right now. So until next time, this is Arvette.
This is Steve.
Teron.
Bye, guys.